Hello everyone, welcome back to the parallel programming in C#. In this video, we will discuss about the parallel for in C#. So let's understand what is the parallel for in the C#. So basically, like when we discuss about the parallel for means the work will go in the parallel way. Now, if we see the difference between the parallel for loop and the standard C# for loop. So, like in the case of the standard C# for loop, the loop is going to run using the single thread. Whereas in the parallel for loop, the loop is going to execute using multiple threads. So that is the main difference. And like when the parallel for loop go with the multiple thread means the performance will be better than the standard C# for loop. The second difference is that in the case of the standard C# for loop, the loop iterate is sequentially order, whereas in the case of the parallel for loop, the order of the iteration is not going in the sequential way. Since in the parallel for loop we are using the multiple threads, so like when the loop goes, so it not printed into the or it not execute in the sequential manner, because multiple thread works on the multiple processors, and according to that one, like if any thread complete the task before, so according to that it will print that particular data. So that is the main difference between the for loop and the parallel for loop and the standard C# for loop. So let's understand it bit with an example. So let's go to the Visual Studio, and in this what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a two for loop. One is the standard and another is the parallel for loop. So C# standard for loop, and here what I'm going to take, I'm going to take the for loop, and this length, let's define this length, and I'm going to define it as a 10. Now here you can see it will go from 0 to 9 because it's less than length. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this one, and let's print instead of this, let's print here like the value is, so here I'm going to say it is I, and this is the I, and thread is the current thread whatever is running, that it will print. So this is the simple for loop we are having, and we are looping over that, and we are taking like which value is the currently. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create another code, and that is for the parallel for loop. Parallel for loop. So how the parallel for loop we write? So generally first we have to write the parallel. So parallel dot, and then here we have to use the for, and you can see what it says. It take first parameterizer like from inclusive, like from which number it is going to start, and then to inclusive means what is the length of that loop, and then next is the action, and it is basically a delegate. And we have so let's first write this for loop, and we can see there are many overloaded method, but we are using this one. So we will start from the 0, and then we will give the maximum is the length, and then we have to give the action. So first we have to take the one variable, and using the lambda expression what we have to do, we have to print the data. So what I am going to do, I am going to copy this particular line, and I will say the value is count because it is looping with the count, and the thread whatever the thread is currently going on. Now when I will run this application, so what will happen, the for loop will print in the sequential manner, but this parallel for loop will not print with the sequential manner, means it can print any number and any point of the time with the different thread, because parallel work with the multiple threads. And you can see in this, so this is the standard for loop. Here you can see 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so we can say, and even the thread is also 1, so we can say C# for loop work with the sequential manner and with the single thread. But when we talk about the C# parallel for loop, so here you can see like it is not printing in the sequential manner, like here it is saying 0 1 2 3 4, then it is printing the 6, then 5 8 9, so in that manner. And even it is using the different thread. So we can say like this parallel for loop it doesn't work with the sequential manner and with the multiple threads, and we can see it is printing in that manner also. So this is the way we use the parallel for loop. Like if you want to run a particular operation on the like parallel or like as it is asynchronous, then we can go with the parallel for loop. Now let's understand it within performance perspective. So what I'm going to take, I'm going to take a one object and let's take it start new. So using the stopwatch, what we are going to see the performance, like which take the last time. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to stop it, and after the stop, let's copy this one, and what I will say here, so here let's write it, the time taken. So let's write this watch dot elapse millisecond. So this is for the standard for loop. Now same we will do for the parallel for loop. So let's write watch equal to stopwatch dot start new, and then similar to this one we will write for the parallel for loop also. So this particular code we have written for the parallel for loop, and this is code for the standard for loop. Now let's run this application and see the performance. So before running this application, let's put a slip here. So thread, so let's put like thread dot slip. So like it will take some time, so based on that what we can do, we can figure it out much, and same we will do for the parallel for loop. So what we have done, like simply we have put the slip for both the loops. So now let's run this application. So after running this application, we can see like the the standard C# time is taking 163, and for the parallel for loop it is taking the 153. So as per the time, like we can say this parallel for loop take the less time than the standard for loop. So again run this application and see the performance also. And here we can see like this standard for loop is taking much time than the parallel for loop. So as per the performance perspective, the C# parallel for loop is much better than the normal for loop, because in the parallel for loop it works parallelly and use the different threads, and we can see with the output also. So this is the way the parallel for loop works in the parallel programming. So that's it for this video. If you have any question and doubt, please comment. Thank you.